Hey guys, so I've built an automation that turns your blog post or any case study that you have into a LinkedIn post. And most of the times, the problem is this: we're literally copy pasting, the content from the blog post or case study into ChatGPT, and it's a manual process. And it would just be more efficient if you could repurpose a lot of the content that's being put out there on your blog or your case studies or even your podcast slash transcripts for that matter, even YouTube videos, and convert those into a LinkedIn post that you can automatically paste into your LinkedIn or your company's LinkedIn page for that matter. And this is an automation that does that. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a walkthrough of how you can recreate this for your own marketing assets, and so you can get more done with less resources and as less time as possible. This entire workflow should take you no more than 30 minutes to get started. So let's jump in, shall we? So as you can see, I am in N8N, which is an workflow automation tool, and I'm just going to give you like a quick demo first to show you how it works. So this is the chat interface wherein I enter a chat message with the URL. There's an API request that I'm sending to a tool called Firecrawl, which is scraping the data from the website, in this case your blog post, condenses that into like an AI summary of sorts, sends that to an AI agent, which has a chat model of Claude based in, I'm using Claude Sonnet. And then there's a hook writer tool that I've trained, which is basically a fancy way of saying that it's a spreadsheet of all the killer hooks in one place. Basically, hooks are by far the most important thing on LinkedIn. So this hook writer tool is essentially trained on that data set of the most powerful, most viral tools, hooks, sorry, that have done well on LinkedIn. So this is the workflow. So you send in a blog post URL, then there's an agent that scrapes the entire thing, sends it back to Claude, who writes up a draft along with the hook writer tool's assistance, and then sends that back to the agent, and you get it back via chat. And this chat is something that you can embed on your website, or it can just be like a standalone URL. You don't even have to host it anyway. It can just be a standalone URL, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So let's see how this works, right? So I'm just going to type in a URL here, which is this one, and you can see it sends the chat message, and it's going to go to this Firecrawl API, which is now going into the blog post, studying the contents of that blog post, extracting out the crucial information. So this is a podcast. This is a conversation with a product manager named Eleanor, and the Firecrawl tool is now scraping the entire website and extracting out the key points. So let's wait until that happens, post which it will send that to this AI agent workflow here. So let's wait for a second. It's going to take a bit of time because it's a lengthy blog post. So I think that's one thing you should keep in mind here. The longer the blog post is, takes a slight bit of time to get that. Yeah, and now it's done. And it sends that to the AI agent, which is attached to an Anthropic chat model, uses the hook writer tool to write the hooks, sends that back to the chat model of Anthropic, Claude in this case, sends that back to the AI agent, and drafts up a nice looking LinkedIn post in our tone of voice, or as that of the blog post. So you can see here is the final chat output, which is AI isn't magic, it's math, not falling behind if you haven't built an AI feature yet. And then it starts with a very actionable steps, take some quotes from the podcast of the particular person in this case, and then it gives a winning checklist, and watch the full conversation, right? So it basically reduces a lot of time, that you can just plug in a URL, drop in a URL, and then you just get back like a LinkedIn post. So let me show you how this actually works and how you can set it up for yourself, right? So first is the simple chat message. You can set up a trigger by going onto this button and clicking, where is it? Yeah, on chat message, right? So whenever you click a chat message, this bubble should open up, this node should open up. So when you click on this, you can make the chat publicly available. So you can click on this and you'll be able to access this URL directly, right? You get one for yourself. And so when you drop in a chat message, you can see that this is the chat input that I'm putting in, and this is the variable that is now being fed into the next node, which in this case, this is the variable that's being put into the next node here, which is the firecrawl. So I'm scraping the data from any website, right? And this is the scrape endpoint. So what we're going to do is we're going to take on this curl command, right? We're going to take this curl request and we're going to post it back into NA10. So basically what I've done here is you can see, you can just import this curl or you can just do it manually. It's a post request. You want to get this URL, which you can again find on this page here, right? Where is this? Yeah, so you can get this URL and put this into this container here. It'll be a generic credential type. It's a header auth, and you want to send the body type as JSON and specify the body as JSON. So if you open this up here, you can see that this is the URL which I'm feeding this chat input into this. The format will be JSON, and the prompt is extract the article's title, author name, and the full main body text. Return the output in JSON format with fields, title, author, and content, right? So this is what happens in the backend. So when this workflow runs, you can see that all of this data is coming through. You have the OG image, you have the referrer, you have a Twitter image, you have all these type of things. We don't need all of that. We have description, and then what we need right here is this one, content. This is the author, this is the title, and this is the entire workflow. So what we are trying to do here is we're going to take this element, this content, and feed that into the AI agent. So if you open up this node, you can see that I am creating this source of prompt as defined below, not a user message. So I'm just going to click on here and choose define below. And the prompt is something like this. It's like, you're a helpful content creator for Chameleon's LinkedIn page. So I've chosen a company called Chameleon, and I've instructed it with these steps. Write a 1500 character LinkedIn post based on this text. So this is a variable, and this one was the same content that we saw earlier. So it's this one right here, this one. So I'm just kind of pulling this in right here. It's the same thing. Always write the LinkedIn post in the same tone of voice as the above text. Never exceed 1500 characters. Write the hook, the first line, by using the hook writer tool. So I'm calling the hook writer tool here because it's attached to the agent. And before I get into the agent, so there are three essential components of any agent. One is the LLM that it's attached to. This is the large language model that the agent will reference. The second one is memory. So you have an inbuilt memory for the agent so as to reference past conversations. And the final one is the tool. These are tools like Airtable, Notion, Slack, whatever. You can perform tasks on your behalf using these tools. In this case, we have created a custom tool called the hook writer tool. So it's going to be referencing that tool to create the LinkedIn post. And third, the final output should be the LinkedIn post. Here are set up some guardrails as to say that make sure to not include any words at the top like here's your post or here's the generated post, or even ends like the post fulfills your requirements or something like that. I've also added another thing similar here. Never uses phrases like based on the hook writer tool analysis, I'll create a strong hook or something. Don't use phrases like it's not X, it's Y, and here's the kicker, something that screams AI written content, right? So I just added these guardrails in place, and you can add your own custom guardrails at any moment of time. This will make your output that much more customizable, that much more personalized, and that much more effective. So this is the prompt. If I close this out, you can see that when I run this, this is the output that's coming in. But what's happening here? So I've connected an Anthropic chat model here. You can set up your own credentials here by creating this and connecting your API key. Once you have connected your Anthropic account, it's good to go. And finally, I've added the hook writer tool. So the hook writer tool is basically a workflow that I have made that writes the hooks. So I've added a small description here that says that call this tool to study what a good hook looks like, and then use this tool to make sure the hook's written of the same quality. So if I show you the hooks, I'll show you what that means. Yeah. So whenever the user clicks a workflow, in this case, the agent itself will click this workflow on its own because it's autonomous and it can take decisions on its own. It will click this workflow, post which it'll go into this Google Sheets, which contains a LinkedIn hooks master doc. It's basically a simple Google Sheet with all of the hooks that I've stored. It's about 150 hooks, right? So it will reference this at all points. And then it will use this tool, it will call this tool to write the hook. And then it will send that back to Claude, and then the AI agent then outputs this as the content. And then you get that back in this chat. Now you can connect another node to it. You can connect Slack probably as well. You can connect this trigger also to be a Slack bot. And I'll show you a workflow on how you can do that in later videos as well. It's not that difficult to set it up. And once you do, you can have the entire workflow basically set up in Slack. You can receive the messages in Slack, and you can send the messages in Slack and receive it via Slack as well. Or if you want to set up in like this output in Notion or Airtable or ClickUp or wherever you want it to be received, it'll send that output there. So basically that's how this thing works. Pretty easy, straightforward. And if you want this template, check out the link in the description below and I'll share it with you soon. That's it for this video. I hope you found this useful. I'll come across you again and I'll set up another video with another marketing workflow with you soon. All right, cheers.